Pushing sex. Hey, what's going on, Scatterbrains? Thank you for coming back to another episode of Scatterbrains. My name is Travis, and I'm here to do a review for Married at First Sight, Charlotte Season 9, Episode 8. Decent enough episode. We're going to go through everything and get this over with. So we'll start with Kyrus. We'll keep theirs very quick because not much happened with them. Unfortunately, during the episode, we learned that Keith's grandmother did pass away. She was in hospice care. So they have a conversation about how grateful he is for Iris being there for him. And I thought it was good. Still very happy that they did not exploit the storyline, that they did not give us more. And I mentioned while we were watching, and we haven't seen them that much. It's a fly in here and it's been getting on my nerves. My wife, I've said that we haven't seen him this much this episode. My wife was like, well, maybe it's because of the situation with his grandma and then trying to give them, space. So that made sense. All the couples ended up doing an exercise during this episode to help their intimacy. So Kyrus's exercise was the fish bowl exercise. And that is where you reach into the bowl and you get different scenarios, questions to answer. So I don't think it was the first, but one of the questions they got was what he got for her was, what is your favorite sexual position that he was asking her? And obviously she can't answer that because, she's pristine. All right. So his favorite style is doggy. And she was saying that all these questions regarding this topic were making her uncomfortable. And I don't know if it was one of the questions in the bowl, I don't remember, or if he just asked her, like, how would you initiate sex? That might have been a question in the bowl, but she was saying she didn't know how to initiate sex. So the idea of sexual maturity was talked about as far as they were concerned towards the end of the episode. And, she's just wondering if her virginity is a concern for him. But he is acknowledging that sexually she is very immature, which is obvious. And she asked him later if it's a negative, if her virginity is a negative, but it is a concern for him. Now, the only thing I don't get about Iris is, I get it. We know you are not. It's like they switched out. Why did you choose to get married at first sight with us finding out, like us being told that she's a virgin? Like, we got to get that every episode. We know. But so I don't understand why this fly decided to come in here. The fly was way on that side of the house, but it comes over here because I'm over here. But her saying that she didn't know how to, she said something last night and I didn't write down, and it may have been what it was. Something about her not knowing how to initiate sex. And that didn't make any sense to me, because we're not talking about a woman who is completely naive to any kind of sexual anything. We're talking about a woman who, to our knowledge, just has not had intercourse. But according to her, she's done other things. So for me, those other things, that's what leads to intercourse. I don't know how many other things there are that wouldn't lead to it. But if you're unsure about how to initiate it, just do whatever it was you've been doing before. I'm not going to go over that because I'm not going to get that explicit about what it could have been. But she is a little immature to the point where it's starting to get on my nerves regarding this topic alone. It's like, okay, you're 27. You need to grow up. You're married now. You're going to have to figure out how to have these conversations and not be so uncomfortable about it. And you should have known going into this process that this was going to be a conversation that was going to require you to be mature about. So I'm going to need for you to step it up and, figure it out, because I don't know how long Keith is going to want to sit around. He's doing a good job. Keith is doing a good job of not pressuring her, of trying to be understanding. But I don't know too many people that's going to be that understanding for that long. So Iris is going to have to, look within something to speed it up. So that's we're going to leave that there with Iris. We're going to go to DeGory because I have very short for them. So so we pick up with them and we find out that they did consummate their marriage the night of his birthday, which was last episode. But Deanna has woken up with the swine flu. So what had happened was, when they did it the night of his birthday, he gave her worms. I'm kidding. But she been sick ever since they did it. Greg might have given her worms. That might be why she's sick. But so she's sick during the episode. He's trying to take care of her, but he is really excited that, they went there. I noticed that Greg is a teeth talker. Like, he talks like this, Deanna is this and Deanna is that, and, we were able to do it, and it was great. That's how he talks. But, that's pretty much it. For them, they did for their exercise, they did a card game of some kind. And it was interesting. It was like you assigned the suits, hearts, diamonds, all of that, horseshoes and blue moons. You assign that with a affectionate action, whether it's holding hands, kissing, hugging, something like that. And I guess the number cards indicated how many seconds. So that's what you were supposed to do. It was cute enough, but her biggest thing for Greg is that she wants him to stop thinking so much. And he's an overthinker, very much so like me, but she wants him to be more in the moment and not think so much. And it may just be a controlling thing, because I think sometimes that's what it is for me. It's just you wanting to be in control of some things you don't have control over. So that's the gory. We'll go on to Mamber next. So we picked this episode up with what's his name? Matthew still he hasn't been home. Last episode he went out with his friends and he didn't call or nothing like that. So he had been out. It's 2:00 now. She's still crying. She's still upset. And she hadn't heard from him, so she was just so distraught that she didn't go to work, because that's how just so upset that she hadn't heard from him. And dun, she goes in his drawer and she finds his wedding ring, which means he was out without his wedding ring all of this time. So it's making her wonder, like, where's my husband? We already know Amber has abandonment issues because her mother left her for another woman when she was young. So, it's riling up all of that kind of stuff inside of her. And when he does come in, I don't know if I believe that what we saw when he actually came home was his first, entrance back into the apartment after he had been gone, because I'm just like, this don't seem authentic. But, we'll go with it as if that was really his first time coming home. So he comes in and gives her a head nod, like, what's up? Like, dude, you just been out all night and you just one of the homies. You just throw your head up. And he sits down and says what's up and asks her how she's doing. I'm like, this ain't real. This is not authentic. This is not how this really happened. Ain't no way you can tell me, because she obviously knew he was coming in because probably he was getting mic'd. But you can't tell me that that's the moment that he actually came home, because he had on shorts. Side note, my wife was talking about how short his shorts are because he's so tall. They be looking like Daisy Dukes. But he comes in shorts and a long sleeve t-shirt. I don't believe that that's what he went out in. So he changed his clothes at some point. So, it didn't really flow. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. So he just says that he was out watching the game. He took his ring off to go work out. So I'm like, by that logic, you took your ring off, went to work out. Did you not come home to shower? Because even if you came home to shower, you could have just easily picked your ring up out of the night drawer. So the nightstand. So that really didn't, his excuse wasn't working for me, at least. So he's used to, similar to Keith saying, well, this is what I usually do as far as the lemonade. But he's just saying that's what him and his buddies do. They go out, they crash on each other's couch, and it's like, dude, you're married now. You can't, I don't understand why people get into this situation. I mean, I get it. It's an adjustment. But you got to realize you got married, so now you're in a new situation. You can't do things the way you used to, because if the way you were doing things before you got married was working, you probably would have been married or been in a successful relationship. So maybe you might not want to do things now the way you were doing then and expect different results. Insanity, the definition. So she says that she's cool with him going out. She doesn't have a problem with that. She just needs him to come home at the end of the night. So if he's going to stay out till 6 a.m., cool. Just make sure you come home from 6 to 6:30 before you get up and leave again. That's all she's concerned about. Just come home. And he's been on his own since he was 16. So he really has not had to consider anyone else's feelings for a very long time. This is something that you should have worked out within yourself before you got on this show. Like, when we start seeing these people develop and seeing their true characters, it makes me still wonder, like, this all Charlotte had to offer? This all these cities had to offer? These people with all of these issues? Granted, everybody has issues, But imagine, I mean, I guess, I know we need it for ratings, but imagine the kind of season we would have if everybody had done the work to, come to grips with whatever it was they've been through, and they're not like putting it off on the other person or, having these kind of problems. But like you've been on your own since you were 16. I think he's like 30 now. So that's like 15, 14 years where you could have been doing some self-reflecting and getting your life together, but whatever. So they have this conversation and all is well. Like there's no reprimanding on her end. They talk, she's cool with it, and I'm pretty sure they went and did it after this was all said and done, which, still makes me feel like that was not their first time seeing each other when he walked in. I feel like they saw each other, had the conversation, then they had to have the conversation again on camera to suit the producers, to please the producers. So it just didn't seem authentic that you were that upset all last night. You done called your daddy, called your girlfriends, called your sister, talk to Jesus about how upset you were, and he can come in and give you the explanation that we saw and everything is cool. That just, no. So Dr. Pepper comes to talk to them, and Dr. Pepper is really irritated with him. She says that the counselors, the experts, I'm gonna stop calling them experts. The counselors, they get a rundown of everything that's happened with the couples, and they get footage, and she was heated. She said, "You better be glad I didn't talk to you when this is happening, because I was gonna tear you a new butthole." But, they talk to them. They both are understanding of what they need to do. And, that is what it is. So their exercise was the fishbowl exercise, just like Kyrus. And I don't really remember what they talked about because it wasn't that important. But he ended up giving her a massage. And I don't mean any disrespect when he was giving her a massage, because he took his shirt off. But Matthew was looking like the grasshopper aliens out of Men in Black. The ones that was in the break room? That's what he was looking like when he was giving her a massage. I was just like, I'm just waiting for somebody to come in and just zap you right now. But, All right, so let's move on to Jezebeth. I had the longest thing for them because I think I took a lot of notes for them. So Jezebeth, a.k.a. BCS, he did not stay home after she criticized his sexual abilities. And he came back the next day because they were meeting with Dr. Pepper as well. But he said if it wasn't for Dr. Pepper, he wouldn't have come home at all. And he also stated that he does not see a happy outlook for the couple. So in order to try to get them to a point of better understanding each other, Dr. Pepper wants them to start with the positive. And she suggests, let's first talk about what you like about each other. And they don't even get started because Beth is completely shut down. She calls him this thing over here, said he wanted a divorce. And Pep asks if he really wanted a divorce, and he says no. And Pep says they're both responsible, which they are, and they're both toxic for each other. Let's just be honest. Now, word on the street, I can't tell y'all who the word on the street is, but I got it ain't firsthand information, but it's second, third, somebody on the show's family, is talking a little bit too much in Charlotte and spreading business they probably ain't supposed to spread to us. So, it ain't 6 degrees of separation between me and this person. It ain't that many degrees. So word on the street is, y'all feel like I'm about to tell you something explosive. I'm not. They're still having explosive arguments. Even when the cameras were not there, that they are still having major blow-ups and arguments. So that's what I've been told. We'll see how things play out. But even still, before this episode was even over, I knew that I don't see them making it. That's just my view. But Pep talks about how they don't fight fair, which they don't, and she ends up talking to them separately like she did with Mamber, but that wasn't important. Elizabeth says that she got upset because, was it that night they were walking the dog? I believe they were out walking the dog, and it might be later. But he told her, he being, what's his name? Jamie told Beth that they have an intimacy issue. And she was upset about that because they've been having a whole lot of sex. So much sex to the point that she got a UTI because he gave her worms too. So that's her issue. And then his issue was he's most bothered by the fact that they don't ever have a resolution. So Pep suggests that they start creating boundaries for their conversations. And she she being Beth, wants to take sex off the table because of the amount that they have. You know, last week she made it seem like it was so whack, but that apparently they've been doing it a lot. But she feels like a sex machine, according to her. And so she wants to take it off the table to reground them, recenter them so they can get to know each other, so that this marriage does not become only about sex, which I think is a smart thing to do, because I think if they continue down that road of only being physically intimate, they're not going to establish anything else. And I just don't believe that physical intimacy is the appropriate foundation for a successful relationship. So, oh, no. So the dog thing is later. So then later on, after Pep leaves, they go on a walk to talk about the boundaries. And that's when she told him she wanted to take sex off the table. And he got upset and he started dragging the dogs. Apparently, he was like just yanking them things up and down the street, which upset her, which, you know, I would expect it to upset any dog lover. So one thing Pep told them was, do not leave. Do not leave, you know, whatever you do not just leave. So when they get back, she says that she's leaving. She goes and packs her stuff, but she eventually, you know, she doesn't leave. She just asked him to sleep out on the couch, and she was going to stay in the room. And she asked him, don't come in the room. So she stays. They wake up the next day, and it's weird because they wake up with tension, but then they end up kind of making up. So they have a weird situation going on, just like Mamber. I think the fact that both couples were intimate so soon, given their personalities, I think that is causing some of their issues. I'm not a doctor, but, you know, that's just what I think. So what else happened? One thing she said was that she just needed to go home. So the next morning, like I said, things were still weird, but she wanted to go home. She said she wanted to go see color, I guess because both of them are so pale. She wanted to go see some color, and she wanted to realign her chakras. But their exercise later was the blind trust exercise, and they had these like sticky notes all over each other, and they were supposed to like take sticky note off, read it, and do whatever it says. And we got a really terrible scene of watching her dance, and I was just like, why are y'all subjecting us to this? This is really uncomfortable. But at the end of the episode, they do some voodoo stuff called a full moon circle, because it's a full moon, and apparently this is my first time ever hearing about any of this. So what she did was, you had like some candles, and she put some water outside with a rock in it, and the moon is supposed to charge up the water, and you're supposed to drink it the next day, and it's supposed to like clean out your colon and help you have an easier bowel movement to make your chakras line up so that your third eye don't have cataracts no more. Something like that. I don't really know the purpose of it, but they do the full moon ceremony with some voodoo and witches and all that kind of stuff, you know. Not in my house. As for me in my house, we're going to serve the Lord. I don't know nothing about that. So y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Keep in mind, I got it now. I can tell you, the book is available right now. The official date is next Tuesday, August 6th, but y'all can order your autographed copy right now. Follow the link in the description. My first book, Always Just Be You. It is for every person who ever questions who they are. If you're ever wondering, like, maybe I need to try to be somebody else. No, you are just enough as yourself. So it's dedicated to my daughter, inspired by her. This is not supposed to be her. It's just inspired by her. But even though it's a girl on the front, it's for all genders, all ages. Adults and children alike can all benefit from Always Just Be You. So follow the link down in my description to get you an autographed copy. And thank you to those who've already ordered. I really appreciate it. I did an awesome interview yesterday with, I don't know if I should even say her name yet because her stuff hasn't come up, but I did a great interview yesterday with a woman who has started a new podcast. So I'll be telling y'all about that as I have more information. But I'm going to get off of here. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe if you have not, and share if you feel like it. Always Just Be You. Link down in the description. I so appreciate y'all support, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.